Welcome to the basic CLP regulation training program. This training video is intended to help you understand the new CLP regulations, recognize the new labeling, understand the safety data sheets and hazard pictograms. What is CLP? CLP is the regulation of classification, labeling and packaging of substances and mixtures. CLP replaces DPD or Dangerous Products Directive. It is important that anyone using chemicals understands CLP and its implications. There are many ways in which chemicals can become dangerous in use, therefore before anyone is allowed to use them, chemicals must be classified, identify the hazards, labelled to communicate the hazards and any other important information, packed correctly to ensure safe handling and storage. You may wonder why you need to learn about CLP when you have been using chemicals for a long time and are already trained on COSH. This is due to new regulations coming in from the 1st of June 2015. The way that chemical hazards are identified and communicated is about to change, and it is important that you recognise and understand the new labels, safety data sheets and hazard pictograms. So what are the main changes with the new CLP regulations? Classification is stricter. Therefore, more chemicals may be classed as hazardous. CLP introduces new hazards and new pictograms to represent these. Labelling requirements will change and all safety data sheets will be amended. There are three types of hazards under CLP: physical, health and environmental. Here you can see the 5 new CLP pictograms for physical hazards. This is the pictogram for explosives, self-reactives and organic peroxides. We have also displayed the old DPD orange and black symbol. This is the pictogram for flammables, pyrophorics, self-heating, emits flammable gas, self-reactives and organic peroxides. Again, you can see the old DPD symbol below. Here is the pictogram for oxidizers with the old DPD symbol showing below. Here is the pictogram for gases under pressure. This is a new hazard identified by CLP and there is no equivalent DPD symbol. This pictogram means that the chemical is corrosive to metal. We will also see the corrosive symbol in the health hazards section, meaning the chemical is corrosive to the human skin. Below are the 4 CLP pictograms for health hazards. This is the pictogram for acute toxicity. Below you can see the old DPD orange and black symbol. Here is the pictogram for serious health hazards: carcinogen, mutagenicity, reproductive toxicity, respiratory sensitizer, specific target organ toxicity and aspiration toxicity. This is a new symbol pictogram covering 2 of the old DPD orange and black symbols. Here is the symbol for corrosives, skin corrosion, burns and eye damage. As we saw earlier, this symbol is also used for corrosive to metal under physical hazards. Here we can see the exclamation mark pictogram for health hazards, irritant, skin sensitizer, acute toxicity, narcotic effects and respiratory tract irritant. What do you need to remember with health hazards? If a product has a pictogram related to a serious health hazard or acute toxicity, you must ensure a thorough workplace risk assessment is performed. You must apply the necessary safety measures and ensure you only use the product as indicated on the bottle. For example, if a product is to be used as a diluted mixture in a bucket, you must not use the product for spraying onto surfaces. Detergents are likely to become labelled as irritant to the skin and eye. For products that have the corrosive to skin or the health hazard pictogram, you must ensure you read the safety data sheet, check whether personal protective equipment requirements have changed, and ensure you protect yourself from unnecessary exposure. Below are the 2 new pictograms for environmental hazards. This is the pictogram for hazardous to the environment or dangerous to the ozone layer. This is a new pictogram under the CLP regulation and there is no direct DPD equivalent symbol. Here is the pictogram for hazardous to the environment, acute aquatic toxicity and chronic aquatic toxicity. Below you can see the previous orange and black DPD symbol for this hazard. Remember that the new CLP regulations involve a new method of classifying hazards. You will not see a direct replacement of the old DPD symbols. It is important to note that there is no change to any chemical formulation. The chemicals you are using will be just the same, but the hazards associated with them may change under the new regulations. For instance, let's look at the CLP kitchen cleaner and sanitizer. Under the current DPD regulation, this chemical is not classified. However, under the CLP regulation, this chemical will be classed as corrosive. Here we will show you how the new labels will be constructed. Please note this label does not represent the final label and is for example purposes only. Here is the product identifier, the name of the product. Here we show the recommended uses of the product. Here we show the hazard phrases as identified under CLP. Here we show precautionary phrases. These are the recommendations for precautions you should take when using the product. Here we show any hazardous ingredients we are required to identify under CLP. Here we show the supplier name and contact details. Here we show the pictogram, if applicable. Here we show the signal word. The signal word represents the severity of the hazard, danger for less hazardous products and warning for the more serious hazards. On the CLP product labels, you will always find the where to use icons to quickly identify correct usage areas for the product. Here we show the recommended safety equipment. Here we show how to use icons. Here we show the area number under the CLP color coding system. So, what do you actually need to do? Employers must ensure their employees are trained on the new CLP regulations. Users of the product should always read the SDS, check if the classification of products has changed, check you are storing the product correctly, check if you need to update your risk assessments, and finally, check if you are using the correct PPE. Thank you. This completes your training. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to get in touch.